So I've got a quick little gig today. It's just a headshot, but it's at a studio. I don't own or run a studio space, so I'll rent one when I need one. Now this particular studio is kind of old school in that the studio's on the second floor, so I cannot bring my cart like I normally would. So I've got everything portioned out as best I can into rolling cases, but this is still going to be a bit of a hassle moving this stuff up to the second floor of the studio. So we'll see you back here once that gets up. All right, here's the studio. So like I said, this is a rental. It's got some great natural light in here. Great little setup for headshots or things like that. A lot of props. So really kind of a nice little space to set up. Like I said, the only problem is you got to come up a couple flights of stairs to get up here. So here's my kit. We've got stands, backdrop, all in this long rolling case here. I've got tripod, light modifiers, clamps, things like that. And then we've got lights and camera. So we're gonna set up right over here for our headshots. Probably check and see which way the sun's coming in. I don't want really any extra sunlight coming through these windows, although I'll pull the shades if that happens. I'm gonna be doing all the lighting with my own strobes that I'm setting up, but here's our spot. All right, so here's the setup. I did end up pulling these shades down. We're getting just a little too much ambient across everything. I'm trying to create a little more contrast. So I've got some negative fill over here with a big 5-in-1. A really big soft kind of dual setup here. This becomes almost like a topper. That's a big Photech soft lighter. And then we've got a Westcott Switch Octa L here. Both of these are on Godox 8600 Pros. So nice big soft wrapping kind of key, a little bit of negative fill. And then we've got another Photech soft lighter here in the back that's got the gold insert into it just to warm up this back edge light a little. And then we're shooting on this gray. I'd like to have brought a bigger gray seamless, but again, coming up a bunch of stairs, just didn't have room for it. So I'll extend that if I need be, but this is gonna be a pretty tightly cropped headshot, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, we just wrapped on our first client headshot here. A little quick preview there. And we've actually only just got one more today, doing 2 in this space. The studio rents by the hour, which I actually think is pretty great. If you only need a couple hours to come in and do a little bit of something, it makes it pretty economical versus trying to rent a whole day. There are definitely some other studios where you can do whole days, but for what I need today, this is great. So I started out on the 50 prime here, the 1.2, but ended up switching over to the 2470 2.8. I ended up stopping down to almost 3.2, you know, for a headshot that's just shot on gray seamless. Really kind of doesn't matter if we're too shallow. And once I did that, I decided I'd go over to the zoom just so I'd have a little more flexibility in terms of zoom range, and just trying to compress and get my subject fully on the gray background, just to really save myself some time in post. Trying to keep any limbs and stuff from going off the background, and the longer focal length kind of really helps compress that. So that's the story there. Shooting on the R5C per usual, and the stills mode. Again, this camera is just kind of a solid workhorse. I use it for video all the time. I use it for stills. I've gotten more ROI out of this camera than probably about any camera body I've purchased lately. Godox strobes, like I said, 8600 Pros. I love these because they're just really simple to set up. They've got a built-in battery that runs pretty much, you know, all day. Rarely am I running these at full power unless I'm just doing outside stuff all day. So you can see this one's at 1/32. My B flash. Over here we've got the A. That one is running at 1/16 power right there. And then for my backlight here, I've got an AD200 Pro that's labeled in the C, and that's at 1/32. And our 5-in-1 that I actually had this on black for negative fill, but as my subject kept turning away, we kind of like that angle better. I flipped it over to the this kind of gold silver bounce to fill in that side of her face a little more. Funny, maybe not so funny story about this soft lighter. So you can see one here. I've got a little bit of some burning here. One time, many years back, left the lid on a strobe with the modeling light on, and it burned straight through the lid and literally caught the soft lighter on fire. So came to find little flames coming off this, and still works. Sock still goes over the top and keeps the light in, but I've never left a cap on a strobe since. So quick tip, always check, make sure the caps are off your strobes before you turn them on. All right, we just wrapped. Gonna pack everything up real fast and get out of here. Good, quick little shoot today.